Good morning on a sun-swept day in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Of course, it's always a little bit sunnier when the Eagles win. I'm ex-Philadelphia Eagles, Philadelphia Stars tight end Ken Dunek. My partner is the longtime beat writer for the Eagles, covered them for years for the Trenton Times and NJ.com, Mark Eckel. Mark, you moved down to Myrtle Beach. You get jealous when we have all this good weather up here? Because I know when I go to Florida, I want it to be cold back home. I understand that's a character flaw.
No,
It's a
not at all.
character flaw. I'm not. I'm just saying that's me, not you. You're a better
No,
person.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I do like you to get a little snow in the winter, though. I do like.
Otherwise, what's the reason of moving down there, right?
Right, not for the
Yeah.
no. I missed not for the food.
And also on our screen, we are really fortunate and blessed to have one of the great Eagles players, in my opinion, of all time, all-pro defensive back, played in the '90s. Bobby Taylor, of course, he went to Notre Dame, All-American, 9 seasons with the Birds and 1 season with Seattle. Bobby, how are you? Thanks for being on.
I'm great. I'm a little tired. Just coming back from the Notre Dame game. Disappointing loss to Texas A&M, who actually my oldest son, he goes to school there. So
I was going to say, were you torn? Were you torn on who to root for in that game?
Oh heck no! It's Notre. Oh my goodness! Like when we play. So for example, when we played them last year here in Texas in College Station, I mean it was total Notre Dame head to toe. So I'm not torn at all.
Well, were you? Let me ask. Speaking of that, were you torn yesterday when the Eagles play when Andy Reid plays the Eagles?
Absolutely not. I wish I had my Eagles hat. I could grab it. I was actually wearing it yesterday, traveling back home. But absolutely not.
You're an Eagles.
I'm an Eagles fan through and through. And sometimes, especially guys, my peers that I grew up with, I played with, that are from Texas, that went on to play in college and in the pros. They come back and retire and end up being Cowboy fans, and I'm like, how the heck is that even possible?
Yeah,
like you didn't even play for you never even played for this particular organization. So, but yeah, to answer your question, it's fly Eagles fly all day, every day.
Love to hear that. Hey, Bobby, what was the cultural difference of playing in Philly and Seattle? What the fans, the food, the weather? I mean, what were the differences to you?
I think it's always talked about how passionate the fans are and educated they are there in in Philadelphia. And sometimes I think as players we feel like fans can be a little bit tough. And then actually when we were playing, I guess it was probably right on the edge or right before social media had became popular. Talk radio was definitely an educational thing for me, because just sitting and hearing some of the guys and the way that they talked. And listen, guys, listen, when you have so many, I guess, different podiums, when you think about just the news itself, ESPN, and then the local radio, when guys say that they're locked in, that they're not looking at the newspapers or even listening to what's being talked on the radio, that's not true at all. And in Philly, it can get really loud. It can get really loud, and not just in the stands, but culturally. I mean, I loved it. It was something that I totally embraced. When I left and was out in Seattle, I probably parts of my heart was still there in Philadelphia. And so, I definitely missed it. I actually kept a home there probably 2 to 3 years after I stopped playing, just because, I always wanted to come back. I met a lot of people out there in the city. Philly is in a great location, can dip down to DC pretty quickly, can get up to New York pretty quickly as well. And the great thing about it is, like, the guys that I played with, we really were family. I mean, we still stay in contact today. We try to support each other's initiatives, and we're seeing each other's kids grow up and go off to college, and all of those types of things. And so it's just hard to replace or even come close to maybe duplicating what I was able to attain being out in Philly.
Well, I agree with you. Football is a lifetime fraternity. I played in the early 80s with Harold Carmichael, Wilbert Montgomery, Jaws, all those guys. We stay in touch, and it's been a real blessing. Let me recognize a few sponsors before we start talking about the Eagles game yesterday. Of course, we're recording this at the Sweet Recording Studios in Mount Laurel. Contact my friend Joe Gangemi. He can put together a podcast for you, Joe at sweetrecording.com. Our sponsor, Citywide Mortgage. My good friend Chris Wilhelm can handle all of your mortgage and refinance needs. Chris's number is 609-234-4304. That's Chris Wilhelm at Citywide Mortgage. And also my good friend Anthony DiGirolamo of DiGirolamo Financial for all your insurance and financial needs. Anthony can be reached at 609-541-7515. Contact Anthony DiGirolamo, 609-541-7515. And of course, my company, Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine. We've got our October issue coming out, and we've got Vic Fangio story on the cover. We've got some great football pieces and other assorted articles that you want to see this magazine for sure. You can access it online for free at jerseymanmagazine.com. And of course, our big charity event of the year. We're in the planning stages, starting to sell tickets. This is our Tournament of Champions this year, November 13th, the Unmasking the Legacy Ball at the Ballroom at the Ben in Center City. And you can contact me for information on that. Sponsorship, attending. Going to be a lot of celebrities there. We're hoping maybe 700 or 800 people there this year. 856-912-4007 is my number, and we want to raise a lot of money for charity, so I hope you can reach out. Okay, I texted Mark during the game yesterday, and the way they came out swinging, I said, this is a little bit like a heavyweight fight. I mean, these guys, of course, Kansas City, they're a little bit undermanned on offense, but they knew they had to play their best game, and they came out trying to do it. The Eagles, I thought, were very calm and stoic and kind of marched their way down the field. Mark, we'll start with you. What were your initial impressions when you saw the two teams square off?
Well, I thought it would be a great game. I mean, the Eagles beat them pretty good last year in the Super Bowl, and knowing Andy as well as I do, and Spags and Patrick Mahomes, that Chiefs team, they were looking, they wanted a little payback.
Mm-hmm.
And but to me, there was two plays in that game, two uncharacteristic plays in that game led to the Eagles win, in my opinion. Andy going for it and not getting it on 4th and 1.
Early in the third quarter by the way.
36 yards.
In the first possession, actually.
Yeah, that's rare. I mean, Andy was 5 for 5 on 4th downs this year.
I think he got caught up in the Nick Sirianni stuff about going for it.
I don't know.
I was scratching my head. I was really surprised.
That's what I was surprised. I was surprised that he went for it and then didn't get it. So that was big. That gave the Eagles
bad play call, though. He runs a slant off the right side. It goes sideways. I mean, you got to.
No, well, okay. Give Nolan Smith credit. Nolan Smith
he did make a good play.
But and then Kelsey dropping the pass that would have put it, at the goal line. It bounces right off him and into the safety's hands. The rookie safety from Texas makes a great play and then returns it half the field.
Yeah, absolutely. That single play had the most impact on the game.
Yeah.
Because Eagles are going in to score. They're going to take the lead 17-13. It could be a totally different game.
They go down and make it 20-10. So, and then that pass what we were talking about before the show started, that when Spags comes with one of his all-out blitzes and Jalen Hurts, kind of picks it up, kind of lobs it up there. And Devontae Smith makes a
great adjustment.
He's so underrated, I think. Devontae Smith.
Listen, he's got mad hand-eye coordination and ball skills. I mean, he knows where the ball's going and he makes the adjustments.
Listen, AJ Brown's a great player and he gets great. People talk about him all the time, and Smith doesn't get. I don't think he gets the recognition that if he was on another team where he was the true number one, I think you would hear a lot more about him.
Bobby, what'd you think?
Yeah, I think you all made great points. I think one other play I'll probably point out when they missed the field goal. I think what was first quarter. I mean, I was talking to one of my guys yesterday. Like, these kickers are just like,
it's crazy,
incredible. I mean, and all the way to college as well.
Yeah.
Like how accurate, how far they're being able to kick the ball, and I think that was a big. Big play for us, them not being able to get those 3 points. And then, like Mark stated, on that 4th down play, Nolan Smith, he just totally blew it up. I mean, it was, so great to be able to watch that. Because, when you look at him, he's, it seems more like just a rush in. But that was one of those plays where, he probably knew based off on the formation And I was also a little bit surprised that Andy even called at that particular time where they were located on the field. But for us to be able to get that, and guys just looked really poised. Like I'm big on body language. That was something that I tried to really pay attention to when I was playing, specifically like in preseason, just watching guys move around and just seeing how they were emotionally. But yesterday's victory was a big win for us because it wasn't necessarily lopsided how we were able to do it. We did some good things offensively. I mean, Saquon. I mean, I could just imagine, being a defender playing against this guy when
he runs so hard.
Oh my goodness! It was one play on the sideline. I think it may have been on their sideline where I don't know if the defender thought he was just going to run out of bounds, but he laid a shoulder on him. And it was like, Lord have mercy, is he going to get up from the field? But yeah, those guys just did a great job, offensively, defensively, special teams. Elliott, it's like he has a boost in his leg as well. Yeah, so I'm just very excited about what we have, moving forward because for Kansas City, I mean, because no team wants to go 0-2, regardless if you have a coach like Andy Reid, a defensive coordinator like Spags, and one of the best quarterbacks in the league currently or maybe ever with Patrick Mahomes, and he was doing this thing out there. He used his legs a lot. I think he may have been their leading rusher. So so those guys were, I'm sure, pumped to not only redeem from the Super Bowl, but more importantly, this is a new season and not to start off 0-2.
Yeah, of course, both teams came in a little bit light. Goddard was out for the Eagles, who's a big part of their offense, and Kansas City was missing two of their top receivers. I will say this, though. I thought, and this speaks to the greatness of Vic Fangio. Now, in the Super Bowl, we won going away. We had a great game plan. Mm-hmm. We only rushed 4. We didn't blitz. We didn't have to. We contained the quarterback. What does Vic Fangio come out and do in this game? He blitzes on a third of the passing downs. He blitzed 7 times in the first half. I mean, if you're an offensive coordinator for Kansas City, you got to be scratching your head and saying, what in the world is this guy doing? It had to be unexpected, Mark. Don't you think that it caught him by surprise?
A little bit, but keep in mind, the Eagles pass rush from last year is not the same as they lost Sweat, Brandon.
Although they brought in this guy Zadarius Smith, looks pretty good, I'll tell you. He had 4 tackles, a tackle for a loss, half a sack, a quarterback kid. He's going to help.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm not you're a hard guy to please in this debut.
Listen, he's a good player, Zadarius Smith, but there's a reason he's been on 5 teams in 5 years.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I think I like Smith as well.
He can play.
I think he had a lot of energy. Just seeing him on the sideline when they were showing him, he was very energetic. I'm sure he's excited about playing for an organization like the Eagles and them coming off the Super Bowl and the chances that we particularly have this year. But I think also he could bring some leadership as well, especially inside of that room with the defensive line. So I'll be very interested just to see. He of course he's not Brandon Graham for sure, right? But I think because he is a respected veteran that has played for some different teams and had some success, and so that leadership piece is a big thing I see in my mind.
My only thing with him too is why was he he is a good player. There's no doubt about it. You look at his numbers; he's a good player, very good player. But so why was he still available?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why guys get squeezed out of positions. One is salary cap. One is, they're bringing rookies in and they have to find a spot to play these guys that they drafted.
You're a good
high.
passer. You could
but it's not necessarily the guy can't play. Hey, listen.
No, he can play. I'm not questioning his playing ability. I'm questioning why does he go? He's like a mercenary. Mm-hmm. He's been on 5 teams in 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know him personally.
Well, let me just say this, Ken, Mark. There are some people in leadership positions that I think they don't know what they're doing on some teams across the league. I think we have to consider that as well. So that would be my answer.
Okay.
I think the Chicago Bears come to mind with that, but we'll save that for another day. It drives me crazy. One of the reasons. Yeah. one of the reasons why I don't listen to sports talk radio that much anymore, because to me it gets redundant. You have the same callers calling in every day with the same stuff. And what I heard this morning, because I wanted to do a little bit of prep before I started the podcast, was they're complaining about Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
So
stop.
Jalen Hurts was 15 for 22 for 101 yards. Now, the people that are complaining about the Eagles winning at Kansas City and Hurts only throwing for 100 yards have to be concerned with fantasy football, because
Yes.
there's no way in the world that anybody should be disheartened about the way Hurts managed that game. Does drive you guys crazy too? Or is it just me?
Oh, it drives me absolutely crazy, because I think Jalen Hurts. This is going to sound crazy, but I think he's a great. I mean, I love Randall. Love Randall. I still keep in touch with Randall because we came in together. My first year was his first. Blah blah blah. And Donovan, I defend Donovan all the time. Jalen Hurts is the most successful quarterback in Eagle history. There's no doubt about it. He's been to two Super Bowls and won one, and would have been MVP in both of them if they would have won that first one. So I mean, people that criticize Hurts, it's like you said, Ken. It's fantasy. Fantasy football has changed the way people watch football. Now, I don't play fantasy.
No question.
I don't play. Never have. I always tell people none of my fantasies involve football, so I don't play fantasy football. So
listen, you can only use that joke so often, Mark.
I know. Well, we got different people, but anyway, I just think that he wins. He's a winner. He makes big plays, like get that pass to Smith. He makes the plays when he has to make them. He makes them with his legs. He makes them with his arm. I don't care if he had 100 yards or 600 yards. He won. Look in the box scores today. You'll see guys that Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards yesterday, but his team lost.
And he made a terrible throw
on that
overtime.
Yeah. But
this is
I'd
funny.
Rather win and get 100 yards and lose with 450. Unless you're playing fantasy. If you're playing fantasy, I guess those 450 points yards add up to a lot of points. I don't know.
Bobby, what are your thoughts on Hurts?
Well, I think it gets back to when you talked about the culture being in Philly compared to being in Seattle, and I mentioned about the fans, and so it's almost like guys, like, what do you want? Are we that high strung, spoiled when you think about the success that the organization has had for years now, right? Even going back to the first Super Bowl. And it's like, what do you guys want? Like this guy, like he said, Mark said, he's a winner for sure. Because I'm a big fan, and because I have, even more personal ties. Jalen's godparents, they're my neighbors, and we see each other probably 2 to 3, 4 times a month, and I just know what he's built of. I know like specifically about his journey. Being from the state of Texas originally. Wanting to go to University of Texas, but they didn't necessarily think that he had the makeup to be a part of the Longhorns, and we all know his route from there. And so, just seeing all of the things that he's been able to persevere. This guy's a winner through and through, a class act, and he can do both. He can run, he can throw the ball, and listen, if he doesn't kill it as it relates to, just the stats, I can care less about that. And when you think about fantasy football, because I've never played, I get people asking me to play all the time, and I'm almost like, what's that? Like, how does that even
too much work?
How does that even work? I would probably need to read some Cliff Notes just to catch up to see about all of those things. But I love the guy. He's a winner. Relatively, he's been able to stay healthy and been out there on the field, has fought through some tough injuries, and he's still been able to play and come through for us, and to almost be, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and would have definitely been an MVP in the first Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Fans, you all just chill out, because if we didn't have him, it'll probably be a totally different story what they would be complaining about.
Hey, Bobby, I'll tell you another body blow he took was when he was replaced in the national championship game in the second half. Tua comes in, turns out to be the right move by Saban. They win the game, and that would have ruined a lot of guys. Now, Hurts takes this game to Oklahoma, has a good senior season, winds up being a second-round draft pick of the Eagles, who many people were surprised about. But I think that speaks to his character. A guy could rebound from that really embarrassing situation and turn into the player he's become. I really do. It speaks to everything that you just said about him.
Yeah, absolutely. Because all of those things like happened in the public. These weren't things that happened behind closed doors where not many people knew about. I mean, this was displayed like all over the place. And so to be able to weather all of those things, I mean, you have to take your hats off to the guy.
Another thing that was all over. Go ahead, Mark. You have a
No,
point?
the one stat that to me that is important, and Jalen's been great now. Early on, he had some problems, but no turnovers. He doesn't
Yep.
turn the ball over,
Yeah,
and
very
to me,
good.
that's how you win games too, by not giving the other team the ball. And he hasn't had any this year yet in 2 games, but and last year, when they got on that roll, he doesn't turn the ball over anymore.
Another thing that kind of drove me crazy this morning, I was watching ESPN and the morning show with Mike Greenberg and Adam Schefter, and they're a bunch of tush push crybabies, these guys. Now, listen, you know, Schefter actually said the game was won in March by the Eagles because the league okayed the tush push. Let me tell you something. Everybody else can do it. Nobody else does it as well. If you want to be good at it, have your quarterback go in the weight room and leg press 600 pounds until he passes out from exhaustion. And you can do the same thing instead of crying about it. Now, you can also say, well, there was a false start on that play. There was a false start, and the refs missed it. And that happens all the time, which kind of brings me to my point is if you want to get all the calls right, and I think there should be enough. Now you got the digital yard marker, which I think saves time. I think that's a really good idea. But if you want to get all the calls right, have a master ref in the booth that's looking at the replay, that sees an egregious error that should be corrected, and go ahead and make the call. There's a million ways around this, but as long as all the teams can do it, I don't understand why there's this outcry against the Eagles for being good at something that everybody can do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Ken. I love your idea of the ref. Being
Get it right?
ref.
Get her, push the button and get her. Hey, we missed that one, guys. Get it right. Hey, that wasn't pass interference. You call it in the field. Get it right. I think it's a simple solution. Personally, I'm not sure what do you think of the tush push, Bobby?
I mean, I love it because it's the Eagles. We're doing it, but this is just a skill set that we have, and it's not like other teams can't do it. They could run and call that play if they want to. I just think it's one of those things where folks are, just complaining about the wrong thing. Like, why? Like, for what? It's not like we are doing anything illegal. Like, everything is completely legal. And I'm sure there are probably guys on the team that may not love it as well, right? But it's a means to an end. It's something that we know that we can do well, and we can continue to move the chains, continue drives going, continue our momentum. But I'm sure that there are probably guys that, if they wanted, if there was a poll and the coach say, hey, we have these specific plays this week, what are some of your favorite plays? That may not be a unanimous decision, in my opinion.
I think it's the single greatest advantage of any play I've ever seen in any sport. 4th and 1 is such an important down in football, and the Eagles are unstoppable on 4th and 1. Listen, if you want to bet football games, and if you don't include Hurts as an anytime touchdown scorer, you're out of your mind, because if he gets to the 1 or 2 yard line, they're going to give it to him until he scores a touchdown. So. I don't know. It just frustrated to me to see people talk about it. Let's talk about Saquon Barkley for a second. He had kind of a mediocre Super Bowl by his standards. He doesn't care a bit because he won the championship ring, but I believe he only had 50-some yards rushing. Well, yesterday he had 22 carries for 88 yards, 1 touchdown. But the way he ran the ball was such force. He always absorbs the first hit and keeps his leg churning and, making guys miss. And it's just an awesome player to watch, Bobby. Saquon is just, the Giants fans have to be rolling in their sleep watching the Eagles have this guy take him to the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on Saquon?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, it goes back to those people being in positions of power. Like, what are you thinking, making these type decisions? And, my first exposure to Saquon was probably just some clips of him in practice. I'm sure you all have seen it when he was at Penn State. And, I thought that this guy is just that's all he could do is just highlight runs and things of that nature, right? And then, Penn State is not necessarily a school going to Notre Dame that I root for, and then going to the Giants. And so I kind of discounted what kind of talent this guy is. And like how you said, I mean, he's so explosive and can do it from many positions, not just running the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield. And when you're sitting in meeting rooms, because I can remember it when there were guys that you didn't necessarily want to tackle, because he's so shifty to where he's quick and fast enough to run around you, but he can also lower the
Take you
boom on
on
you
too,
as well.
sure.
So when you as a defender, you're trying to gauge, like, okay, is he going to be the speed back, Saquon, on this play?
Well,
or is he going to be the hammer?
well,
back?
I know you're a pretty smart player. I know you take on Saquon, you're going low to try to take him down. That much I know.
Listen, I'm going low. I'm trying to get there fast before he's able to turn and square up his shoulders. And I'm making sure I'm telling my guys on the inside, hey, Trot, hey, Hugh, I need y'all on this play now. Come on. We need to gang tackle this guy. It can't just be one person, because you saw how he was running yesterday. I mean, he's just a nightmare.
He is. We only got a couple minutes left, guys. When next week we got the Rams at home. Now, the Rams are going back and forth cross country a couple times, and Matthew Stafford, although he fought off a back injury in training camp, he looks really, really good. Mark, real quickly, the thoughts on the Eagles matchup against the Rams. Like, could this be a letdown game after beating Kansas City, or do they?
I would hope not, because it's actually a bigger game in terms, because it's an NFC rival, a team that you're going to be battling with for. I think the Rams are going to win the West. Let's say that. I'm going to say that right now. I think the Rams are the best team in the West, especially with San Francisco banged up now. I didn't like them that much anyway, but it's another rematch. I mean, the Rams come in just like Kansas City did, with the Eagles beat them in the playoffs last year, so they have a little revenge, if you want to use that word, on their mind. That was a great game. It came down to the last play, next to last play, when Jalen Carter sacks Stafford. So that's going to be. Rams are good. I think the Rams, they added Devontae Adams to their wide receiver core, and that's a big addition.
Rams are good, and then we follow that up with Tampa Bay, who's had our number for the last couple of years. Hey, listen, we're out of time. I just want to thank our special guest, Bobby Taylor. Bobby, we need you to get back here for some of the Eagles alumni events. Some of the people would love to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on back when you can, and of course, my partner, Mark Eckel. Next week, our scheduled guest is ESPN Sports Center anchor and Temple alum Kevin Nagandi will be on with us. And I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, everybody, for watching the Bird Brains with Ken and Mark. We will see you next week, everybody, next Monday morning, 10 a.m. Take care and go Bird.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Oh.